Joined here in Washington by the former Treasury Secretary of the United States, the former CEO and Chairman of Goldman Sachs, now author, Henry Paulson. Thank you for the time. Appreciate you joining us for the hour here on Bloomberg.
Peter, glad to be with you.
I've read the book. Let's get right to it. How close, in your view, now that you've had the benefit of hindsight, were we to the financial Armageddon that you warned about?
I think we were very close. That's where the title of the book came from. But there was a time when the credit markets had essentially frozen, and when blue chip industrial companies were having trouble raising money. And I knew then we were on the brink, that if the markets had collapsed, middle-sized, large industrial companies, mainstream companies all over the United States wouldn't have access to funding, wouldn't be able to sustain their basic business operations, finance their inventories, pay suppliers, pay employees.
We were looking at another Great Depression.
Yeah, employees.
You're convinced.
I'm saying employees wouldn't. It would have rippled through the economy. We easily could have had unemployment of 25%. And Peter, that would have meant millions of additional jobs lost, millions of additional homes lost through foreclosure, trillions more lost in savings. It would have been terrible.
You know, there's a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking. Here we are, months removed from some of the decisions you made as Treasury Secretary, and there are people out there to this day saying some of the decisions you made, AIG, of course, Bear Stearns, the decision with Lehman Brothers, the decision to bail out Fannie and Freddie, to backstop them, that as painful as it would have been to let them go, it would have been better for the American economy to let that happen. You want to respond to that? Because you've heard those criticisms.
Yeah, well, first of all, I understand the criticism. You know, in this country, none of us like bailouts. You know, it's as the president said in his State of the Union, you know, Republicans, Democrats, everyone, no one likes it. I hated the things we needed to do, but they were just far better than the alternative. And I just gave you the case for the alternative. I mean, and another way of saying it was you know, the book is very much about the collision of markets and politics. And the credit crisis couldn't be coming at a worse time, have come at a worse time, because it was 6 weeks before an election. And so everyone that cast a vote it was a very difficult vote to cast. And part of the issue I had was when the markets froze, I knew with certainty we were going to see this negative impact a number of weeks down the road. But many members of Congress hadn't seen it yet in their district. And it was, as I've used the analogy before, it was a little bit like, you know, when credit markets freeze, it's a little bit like if you shut down all the highways in America. You know, once the food and the other supplies left the stores, it just wouldn't be there. And this was a serious situation. And to those that say we shouldn't have done it, I say there was no other alternative, but it was a terrible alternative to have to take. And so that's why it is so important, and I know we'll get a chance to talk about regulatory reform, but we need resolution authorities. So never, ever again in this country will there be any financial institution, no matter what type of institution, that when it fails can't be liquidated, and liquidated in a way in which it doesn't take down the financial system, the U.S. economy, so taxpayers never have to do it again.